Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And in today's stream, I'm going to be finishing up on this animation. Well, at least I'm going to try finish the shading. And then I may also work on some of my art on the side. I have, what did I have? Oh, yeah, I have my little mascot I need to work on. And then I also have some character art, well, a character concept I'm working on as well. So I can't wait to see that. Anyway, how was everyone's day going? It's been pretty nice. It's been pretty good. I'm just chilling, doing my own thing. So right now, I'm working on the shading, and I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. Hmm. I have a lot of shading to do, but I'm sure I'll be fine. Oh, hello. Nice to meet you. How are you doing today? It's nice to see a new face. Bra Brajesh Kumar. Am I saying that correctly? It's nice to meet you. Currently, I am just working on the shading phase of this animation. I have to go back through and I have to add all these fine details. So when it comes to 2D animation, there is cell shading. Usually in most digital art pieces, people will most people tend to blend their shading. So you'll see various gradients or the people using multiple different, I want to say, colors when they're shading. Like you might get warm colors and cool colors, and people like to play with light a lot. Whereas for animation, people usually just tend to do a basic cell shading where the shadow will stop or cut off at a certain point. And it allows for a faster animation time as well as providing a sense of, at least a somewhat sense of depth for the animation while it is being drawn or while it is playing. Correction. I forgot to put my phone on silence. I apologize for that. I did get a text message though. Oh, that's just a scammer. Anyway, how's everyone's day going? Don't just wait on me. Is there anything you guys want to talk about or do? How's everyone's day going? I mean, I'm not really doing much. I'm just sitting here and going over some shading for this animation. It's actually pretty nice and chill. I'm not going to say shading is my favorite part, but to me at least, it is quite interesting as I go throughout the entire animation and sort of try to find the best area and location to put my shading in. Hmm. 6 views and it's only been 18 minutes. That's a new record. Usually I only get like one or two. But usually after the 1 hour mark or like the 1 hour 15 minute mark, that's when I get like a whole bunch of viewers. But this is Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. You guys can come and go as you please. Don't feel pressured to stay for a prolonged period. If you guys want to do something else, leave and come back. That's perfectly fine. If you guys have any questions you want to ask me about my art or my artistic process, I am free to answer. My life has been pretty good, Blaze. I can't really complain too much. I've just been working on some animations here and there, working on some character designs, new stuff. I do have some long term plans. Uh, I just got a job as a stage technician for my city. I'm gonna be working at one of the auditoriums, not auditoriums. I'm gonna be working at one of the theaters, and I'm gonna be doing stuff like running cables, audio testing mics, stuff like that. It's actually quite exciting. How's your life been? Anything interesting happen with you? Yeah, I mean, it didn't take me that long. I'm not really concerned. I'm a man of faith, okay? I'm a man of faith. Nothing really bothers me or shocks me. I just had to keep praying, and then something finally came. And besides, it's somewhere. It's in a location where I like. I love downtown, so I think it's gonna be a good job, and somewhere where it's gonna be low stress. Because I'm gonna be honest, like I've been online, and folks have just been telling like horror story after horror story of like working in retail. So I'm like, thank God I got out of there. I mean, because I was working in retail, and like those folks were terrible. Like you can, I hate to be that guy, but you can tell when someone isn't that educated, where all they know is yelling at people and fussing at people. Because, like, there was no higher education in that building. Everyone was just terrible. That's really all I can say. It's like they don't. It's like they didn't know how to treat people. They didn't know how to talk to people. It was just really horrible. But like, I'm not even hung up on that anymore. Like, it's a new dawn. It's a new day, and I got a job. So orientation is the 30th. So more than likely, I'll be starting work either the next day or in the next 2 or 3 days. So probably sometime in August. And I'm also working on my Fiverr account as well, just so I can start working with potential clients, because that is a field and a space that I want to break into, is doing more freelance stuff. Of course, I'm happy with my life. Why wouldn't I be? You see, there's a lot of people, and it's definitely been going on TikTok where folks are just angry and upset and they're depressed and they're like, why don't I have a house yet? Why don't I have kids yet? Why can't I find this? Why can't I find that? Like, I can't make enough to live my means. And I'm just like, look, I have always just been a person of the faith. So, like, whatever happens, God got me. Like that's just how I've always been. Where I've always, it's like things just always work out for me. Sometimes last minute, but like things just work out for me. Like I wanted to go to NC State, and I didn't get into NC State, but I got into ECU. I wanted to pursue animation, and I dealt with negative and trying professors. I still got my degree in 4 years in an adjacent field to animation. Like, I wanted a job so I could help my mom. It wasn't what I wanted, but I did work in retail for a while, and I actually made like a lot of money in my savings account, and I also put money into the stock market as well. So that money is working for me as well. Like things have always just worked out for me. I've always just been a person of passive faith where things just always worked out. Like there's really nothing else I can say other than things have just worked out for me, and I've always managed to be blessed in that way. And like I'm human. I do have moments where like I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm still happy and thankful for what I do have. So yeah, I'm very happy with my life. Like I talk to my aunts and uncles quite often. I talk to my dad every night, every other night. I live with my mom. Like I help her around the house where I can. I still have my savings account so I can go out once in a while when I want to, or I can help out with bills or whatever. Like I have this channel where I can share my ideas and plans for the future, and I can go over different character concepts and different animations I'm working on. I have 382 subscribers. I did lose one subscriber. It may have been like a computer glitch, but nevertheless, I am very thankful and very appreciative for what I have. I'm very happy with my life. But just because I'm happy with my life, that doesn't mean I can't call out or notice what is happening and what is going on in the world. Like, the world is still very dangerous. There's still a lot of hate and pain in the world, and we've come a long way, but there's still more for us to do. I still have some things I'm working on myself. I'm still working on myself. Right now, I am going on a fast though, so I'm gonna try to fast from today till Sunday, which is gonna be really hard. But like, I can at least drink water. Like, I've been doing some research on different fasts, so I can. So there's like a dry fast where you don't eat food or drink any water, and then there's also like a water fast where you can drink water or tea without sugar or honey or lemon, or you can drink coffee without cream or sugar. So like, that's sort of the fast I'm going on, where I've just been praying, reading my Bible. Like, after this stream, more than likely what I'm gonna do is just read a few verses from my Bible and pray a bit. Like, here's the thing: we're all going on different journeys, and we're all trying to discover who we are and try our best to either maintain that self or grow and become better. So, what sense does it make in me being upset or unhappy with my life? Because there's always that chance and that opportunity to be better and do better. Like, for this frame right here, I'm actually gonna have to go back through and fix up this shading because it's not quite where I want it to be. Let's see, we're gonna insert a keyframe right here and another keyframe right here. You know, shading actually didn't take as long as I thought it would. I will have to make a separate layer for the hair, probably. The shading on the hair. And, I mean, because the legs are fine. I was able to sort of avoid any major or extenuating difficulties. Oh, shoot. I'm going to have to make an entirely new layer to shade the face because that's on a top layer. But what I could probably do is I could probably have the shading for the face and hair share a layer. Because the hair tie doesn't really need to be shaded. Hmm. My whole thing is I don't want to shade. Oh, my chair is just a squeaking. I apologize for that. I know I need to shade it, but I don't want to shade it too much. Because then it could end up looking false, or it could come out too composited and too. What's the proper word? It could look too fake, is what I'm trying to say. That's not really the proper word, but like it could lose its aura, its distinction. Hmm. I am using Adobe Animate. Wow, I already got 21 views. I literally just looked away for like a second and all I had was 12. Now I got 21. Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. I am shading an animation. This is actually just an exercise because long term I do plan on making a pilot for my own show. But yes, this is Adobe Animate. Adobe Animate is actually the primary software I use when I'm animating. Most other people, they use programs like Clip Studio Paint or ZBrush or Maya. I, however, use Adobe Animate because at least for me, when I'm doing my work, it's actually easier for me to just upload the project file to After Effects in order for me to composite my animation. So adding shading, different effects and colors, so on and so forth. It is Nigerian, specifically from the Igbo tribe, Prince Asaro. My father is Igbo. He's from Nigeria, Enugu State. I, however, was born and raised in America, North Carolina to be exact. So, I'm a little hybrid. That's what folks like to call me. They say, "Oh, you're a hybrid." And then like I could just go on forever about that. But like when I was in retail, I got like a lot of like okay, so I used to work in retail. I used to work in Walmart, and so I would get like there would be a lot of Africans that would come into the store, and like they would see my name tag, and they're like, "Oh, Amobi," and then they're like, "Yeah, I was born and raised here. My dad's from Nigeria." And then like they would say like, "Oh, you're Nigerian." Like, "Oh, your dad, you're it's not just your dad who's Nigerian, you're Nigerian too." And I'm like, "Well, like, yeah, my nationality is American. I mean, I'll claim I have not been to the continent. I have not been to Nigeria. I'm sad to say, but I have not. I have been trying to learn Igbo though. I have been trying to learn Igbo. But like as I was saying, like I would meet a lot of Africans, and like they would say like, "Oh, you're Nigerian," and I'm like, "Nah, not really. Like my nationality is American. Like I'll claim I'm Igbo, but like I can't really. It's like I've spent my whole life in America. I've been raised and I've been around Black Americans. Like I've been around my mother's people. Like those were the primary people who raised me and sort of put me on. So like I can't just call myself Nigerian because that's just not my culture. Like I love that aspect of myself, don't get me wrong. Like I love my Nigerians. I love all my cousins out there. But like nah. Like you can call me Igbo, you can call me African American. Personally, I see myself as a black African American because I'm a hybrid, like I'm those two things combined. So I just call myself a black African or a black African American. But yeah, I love every facet about myself. Like there's just something very interesting and wholesome about being from two worlds. And like, who knows, like I may have a special so I drew a lot of I'm glad you asked that, Princess Sorrow, because I drew a lot of inspiration from the Bible. Essentially, this is a show that draws inspiration from the book of Revelations as well as the book of Enoch. It is a science fantasy show, so a blending of technology and magic where there are seven men and women who are seeking revenge, who have been wronged in some sort of way. And so they want to tear down the system that wronged them. It's based off of the six things God hates, the seventh he finds deplorable. And so I took a look at the scripture, I took a look at the Bible, and I'm like, hey, this could be made into a story. Because that's one of the things that I really like is how in the Bible and in Christianity in general, or the way as some people call it, there's a lot of parable and storytelling and symbolism and analogy. Like Jesus's primary way and method of teaching his lessons was through parable and through sharing stories with people. God himself would also send dreams to people. Like there was this one dream that God sent in the book of Enoch where he showed Noah like several different lambs, like 12 lambs, and then one lamb would be the leader of them all, and how that lamb gave birth to bulls and giraffes and different animals. And it was all a symbolic retelling of like Jacob and his 12 sons and the tribes of Israel, and how the Edomites would like go to war against Israel. And so that's really an aspect that I've always loved and enjoyed, the storytelling aspect of the Bible. I've always wanted to just use the gift that God gave me, my creative mind, in order to tell stories. Because if you actually pay attention, you'll see and you'll know that towards the 90s during the Satanic Panic, that was when a bunch of televangelists, the people I like to call the old guard Christians, basically the old guard Christians went on a complete tirade and war against media and entertainment. And like they're literally and there is there is a spirit behind things. Like, I'm not an ignorant Christian who doesn't believe that there's not a spiritual world. Like, the Bible even says that we do not grapple against flesh and blood, but principalities and powers in high places. Like, it literally says that there's a spiritual world to things. So there is a spiritual world to things, but in that same vein, the old guard was wrong in which they called everything demonic. They attacked everything. They attacked counterculture, everything, everybody. And because of what they did in the early 90s, in that mid 90s satanic panic age, that's what led people to go to the extreme far left, and that's what caused people to go into degeneracy and what some would believe is less than amicable behaviors because of that extremism that was present in the church. So I want to start a delineation between the old guard Christians as well as the more younger, because there has been a shift. Like a lot of Gen Z, I would say that it was a dual-edged sword what the old guard did, because eventually it did lead to millennials and Gen Z reading a lot of Apocrypha, Dead Sea Scrolls, hidden books of the Bible. Like, there's a lot of people now who are reading the book of Enoch, the book of Jasher, the books of Adam and Eve, all these other texts. Oh, all of my socials are in the description of my YouTube channel. If you press the link to view my channel and go to my description, you'll see my Twitter, you'll see my Patreon, you'll see my X account, you'll see my Instagram, everything. I'm primarily on YouTube, but I do have other platforms where I go on from time to time. I would say my X/Twitter account is where you can get a more personal view of me. Right now I'm working on this animation, but I've also been working on some character art. I do want to finish up a few more frames. Oh, I'm almost at my 1 hour mark. So, like, probably around an hour 10, an hour 15 minutes, I'll probably shift over to Photoshop and I'll work on some character concepts. Because if you see on my community tab, you can also see that I've been working on a new um, PNG model for my stream. I can actually pull it up real quick and show you guys. But yeah, this is the new model I'm going for. If you actually see on in the bottom right corner, no, the bottom left, my bad. In the bottom left corner, on this side over here, you'll see like a little mascot. I'm actually redrawing him. I decided to take a bit of inspiration from the Bible again, and I had this nice design for like an angel. And I also chose to draw some lilies on his shirt because the lily is a biblical image. So that's really what I wanted to go for this character. And I was debating on giving him like a halo or not, but I do like this look and view of him without the halo. Now, I do plan on adding like a glow to his eyes, like probably a red glow or something, as well as like a faint glow to his wings. But all in all, like this is the rough of the character I'm designing. Like I like the little graphic pencil I gave him as well as the drawing glove. And then he has his little tablet in his lap that he draws on. He's like looking up and away. Like this is supposed to be my new avatar because the one I have now, I mean I've had this one for a while, but it's just my artistic skill has grown so much to where I just want to have something new and show something that better reflects my current abilities. But yeah, that's him. That's my little character. Oh, and since I have you guys here, I talked about this. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like the biblical aspect. Like, because I got baptized earlier in January. Yeah, definitely an upgrade. Definitely an upgrade. But, like, okay, so I got baptized in January. And since I got baptized, like, I just felt like I had a whole new lease on life. Like, I've been doing more spiritual things. I've been reading my Bible more. I've been trying to help my community. Like, because I'm not going to say I was a bad kid or a bad person in college, but like, when I had that freedom of college, like, I was a bit, I was more free reign than I wanted to be. Let's just say that. And so it was really in my retail job where I'm like, dang, like 4 years of college and I'm working in retail and dealing with like trying people. Like, let me just read my Bible more. Let me pray more. And that's really what brought me to wanting to get baptized. And so I've always been serious about my faith. I've always been serious about my religion. Like even when my grandmother was still living, she would take me to church every weekend, every other weekend. Like she was very consistent with me. So I've always had that background growing up. But like it was really just going through so much hardship where I'm like, dang, like let me just dedicate myself. Like God's gonna get me through this. And that's when I came into my faith. And so coming into my faith, it was like I've always been a creative person, but now because of my faith, it's like my art has just increased tenfold. My inspiration has increased tenfold. I want to draw inspiration from the Bible and different biblical stories. Like, I want to tell biblical stories, but I also want to be like a bit, clever with it. Like, Prince of Egypt is good. Like the Prince of Egypt movie, that's amazing. I love it. And yeah, we do need more, animated and live action adaptations of Bible stories. But why stop at adaptations? Why can't we just draw inspiration from the faith, the characters, and like tell parables or take a spin on those stories? Like, instead of the story of David and Goliath, like we could tell a story of like a king who was blessed with a magic sword, and like he kills an evil giant, or the story of Jacob and his journey to the land of Canaan. Like, we could tell the story of like a clever sage who had faith in God, and God led him to a promised land. Like, there are so many different ways we can take biblical stories and inspiration from biblical stories. Like there is I am of the belief that God should not be bound in how we view him, and how we bring honor to him. I am of the belief that God is everywhere. God is present in all things. And we should have the ability to take our faith and take our trust and love in him, to revere him in multiple ways, not just in a church house. So I want to read my Bible, study my Bible, know in my heart the messages of the Bible, and then take those lessons and use them as inspiration for a multitude of different avenues, art pieces, and stories that can be told for the engagement and for the entertainment of others. Does that make sense? Because there has just been because there has just been this rampant, it's almost coming to a point where you can't watch anything, you can't enjoy anything, you can't be entertained by anything. It's like there are those out there who believe every single piece of media is demonic and of the devil. So I want to use the creativity and the artistic ability that God blessed me with to make holy content for people to enjoy. That does not necessarily have to be one to one adaptations of Bible stories, but fantastical, or even science fiction stories that draw heavily from the Bible. Like, I want to start a genre. I want to start a movement of entertainment. I want people to actually enjoy and love the content of this world without having to worry, or without having to be stigmatized for what they enjoy. Because, like, there are just, and I'm just be straight up, like, there are so many people who are depressed, who are angry, who are upset, who are like, who are just like me. Like, why am I here? What am I doing? Like, I went to college and I got XYZ degree and I can do XYZ, but like, I can't afford to live, or I can't have my dream job, or I can't start my business. So, like, if I can just be that person that helps people, if I can just be that person who can give someone a reprieve or give someone a Bible story without the. If I can just give someone that Bible story, that Bible lesson, and they didn't even know that they read the Bible, or like if I can give someone that piece of entertainment that soothes their soul and keeps them going, then I can be happy. Like, that's something that I would like to do. That's something that I would enjoy doing, is using the abilities I've been blessed with, the vision and the mind and the hope and ideas that I've been blessed with to help people, to soothe people who are going through hardship, to be a witness, even. Then I'd be pretty happy. I'd be pretty happy. And, I've said this many times, several times. Like, I'm not the best. I'm not trying to be the top of the world. I'm not trying to be the next coming of Walt Disney. But if I can just touch people, if I can just give them that moment that they need, that they want, where they can just sit down from a long day and enjoy something that moves their heartstrings and keeps them going, then I'd be happy. If I can just keep somebody going another day, then that's really all I need. Because I feel like that's what I've been called to do. Or at the very least, that is an aspect of the wholeness of what been called to do. Like, only God knows what He has planned for me. Only God knows what He wants me to do. But as I've gone closer to my faith, read more, studied more, prayed more. I mean, I'm going through a fast right now, and just talking, I already feel closer. It's like there is an ever expanding. I'm not going to say like an ever expanding list, but more so, it's like as I grow closer, I know more and more what I'm supposed to do. And so I want to keep doing what I'm doing because it feels like I'm being drawn to continue animating. I'm being drawn to continue working on these characters and working on this story, trying to get more subscribers so that I can reach more people. Because here's my plan. Like, here's the big thing that I am working towards. I want to start my own animation studio, but I have to go about it the clever and correct way. So I at least want to wait till I have about 1,000 subscribers before I take that next step of starting my own studio. Because I'm gonna just call it what it is. Like, Hollywood is full of sin. Media and the whole industry is already being decentralized from California. Like, cause here's the thing, like on Indeed and on LinkedIn, you'll see a bunch of different people. You'll see a bunch of different job posts for like a motion designer or an animator or a storyboard artist or intern. But like if you actually look at the media and if you actually look at like small creators, you'll see folks saying like, "Oh, Hollywood is demonic. Hollywood is full of like assaulters and full of people who practice witchcraft." So I'm like, yeah, like business is saying one thing, but the actual people who live there are saying another. And then folks are always moving out of California. Like they're going through a migrant crisis, they're going through a crime epidemic, they're going through a homelessness epidemic. Like they're going through so much different things. So it's like, yeah, you greedy businessmen want folks to move back to California, but no one in their right mind is going there. Like Hollywood has their 5, 6 group of people. They're not hiring anybody else. So let me just not even try to get into Hollywood and let me do my own thing and let me start my own studio and source local talent. Because that's really what should have been happening to begin with. Hollywood never should have been allowed to be a thing. Like, nobody should have ever allowed Hollywood to concentrate all of its power, all of its people, all of the entire entertainment industry should have never concentrated in Hollywood. There should have been studios and filming lots and whatever you and what have you. Like the entire industry should have been countrywide, not just focused in one city, in one region of the world. Because really, everything that's going on now with Hollywood is because it was centralized and because it was allowed to grow and develop into what it is. And like personally, I have nothing to say. Like no king rules forever. Like God's light is going to shine on everything. You can't change fate. You can't change God's word. Okay, His everything that comes out of His mouth does not return void. So when you have a city, when you have a region of the world that is essentially a mini Babylon, like that place is bound to fall. And I say that because I'm not trying to be some sort of big actor or A-lister. Like I just want my small studio and I want to make my own shows and I want to help folks make whatever shows they have. That's really all I want to do. Of course I'm gonna hire people. Oop, I accidentally hit my microphone. Of course I'm gonna hire people. I'm gonna hire local talent. Uh that's why I'm waiting for my 1,000 subscriber mark because I want the social pull needed to get in touch with investors and get in touch with different people who are trying to be a startup. I want to start my own studio and make my own shows and get in contact with other hopefuls, other actors, artists, animators who are those hopefuls and who are those people who are green and fresh and new who want to make their own shows as well. And like here's the thing is there are ways and there are methods. That's really what I don't understand about the whole industry is there are states and cities across the US that provide low interest loans, that provide free grants and retail or office space for small businesses. And technically speaking, I believe it may depend, but at least for the state of North Carolina, if you have employees under 50, you are considered a small business and you are eligible for low interest loans as well as grants. So I don't understand and I don't know why people were foolish and short sighted enough to all conglomerate in one place like that when all it really took, like, really, all it really took to take down the entertainment industry was COVID and that mass quarantine. And then after that, because things got so expensive and folks were arguing over wages and residuals for like animators and actors and people like that, that's really what caused the writer and actor strike. Like since COVID, since quarantine, nothing has ever been the same. And like it was, but honestly, like my spiritual, like the Holy Ghost is telling me that this was inevitable. Everything that was going on was inevitable. And like I have nothing to say. Like I can't be angry. But like a part of me does feel not necessarily shame, but like a part of me does feel bad because for a while I did want to be a part of the industry. I did want to be one of those people who moved to California to get a job in the industry, but then it's like the constant rejection, and then I'm finding out like, oh, like there's no consistent work. You're gonna be a gig worker. You're gonna be working from project to project. You're gonna be like, as soon as the project is done, like you're gonna be out and you're gonna need to find somebody to hire you, or you're gonna have to find another project to work on. And I'm like, that makes no sense. So no wonder the entertainment industry is so sinful because it's all gig work, it's all project to project. There is no consistency. And me being a person who likes consistency, like I like consistency, I love it. When I start my studio, there is not gonna, okay, on God, on my life, okay? When I start my animation studio, we're not gonna be gig workers. We're all gonna be permanent, part time or full time. I haven't figured that part out yet. But every single worker I hire is going to be a permanent worker, and we're going to be working from project to project. Okay, there is no layoffs. There is no, you know, the project's done, so get out of my office. I'm not doing that. I'm not about that life. Okay, I am not about that life. I'm here to give stability for people. I'm gonna have my studio. I'm gonna have my people, and then we're gonna go from there. If all my positions are filled, then you know what? I'm not gonna just leave someone out high and dry. I'm gonna say, hey, maybe I can't take you on right now, but I can give you the resources to start your own studio. I can give you the resources or the help to start your own project. Like I am all for helping small businesses, helping small studios, helping people who wish and seek to follow their dreams. That is the kind of time I'm on because that's what's needed, okay? This whole system, this whole corrupt, sinful system of like folks saying like, "Oh, I got mine. Let me pull the ladder up behind me," or "Oh, I got these 3, 4 people who I've known for 10 years. I'm only going to hire them, and like we'll post the position online, but I already got someone I'm gonna hire for." Like no, that's corrupt. That's evil. That's disgusting to me. I'm here to help people. I'm here to be for the people, and there's really nothing else that can be said on the matter other than I'm here for the people. I am here for the people. Folks are struggling too much. Folks are going through legit panic attacks over life right now. People are depressed. People are angry. Some people want to die, and I'm like, Lord have mercy. Be with these folks. Like help them. They're going through so much hardship and struggle. Like I'm not finna be some temp agency when I start my studio, I'm gonna give people consistency because I like consistency. I love consistency. I love plans. I enjoy people going in knowing what they're getting into. Don't give me no, oh, we're gonna fly it by the seat of our pants, like we're not gonna have a plan and we'll just work with it as it comes. Like I went through that bullshit in retail. I'm sorry for that. I'm cursing. Like I'm so convicted by the spirit that I'm talking too loosely. Forgive me for cursing, but like, I'm just saying I'm not with that energy. I'm not with that spirit of everything is unstable and every day is a new day. Every day is a different day. No, we're gonna have a plan. Deadlines are this day and that day. We're gonna have our script. We're gonna have our audio. Like we're gonna be churning out content. We're gonna be churning out cartoons and shows for people to watch. And like I just have to be patient and play my cards right. Really, that's all I have to do. Is just because I'm gonna be honest. Like I am not the most patient person. Like I just have to be honest and I have to be truthful. Like I've been upset at times. I've been angry at times. Oh, you can access my email. Like I have Twitter, I have Instagram, I have X. If you go to the description of my channel, you can actually see my email address and you can send me your work or we can go into Discord and we can talk about projects. Like I would love to bring people on. Like I would love to bring people onto my streams. I would love to work on animations with people. I would love to go deep on different projects and topics. I can send you my email. At least the chat should allow me to. Uh, I don't want to share my Discord yet. Like, here's the thing, I don't want to share my Discord yet because I don't even have a proper Discord channel for my. I don't have a proper Discord server for my YouTube channel yet. That's sort of been something I've been holding off on, at least until I get a few more subscribers for it. I know how that sounds. But like I don't have any programs. I don't have any I don't have Nitro. So I'll have to wait on a Discord channel. But I do have my email. I do have my Instagram DMs and yeah, I stream Tuesdays and Fridays. So I'm always around and I'm always working on some sort of project. Yeah, give me some time. Eventually, I will make a Discord channel. Like, eventually, I will make a Discord and we can chat on there and we can do our thing there and we can chop it up. And that'll definitely be a faster way to contact me and get into contact with me and my work. But until then, definitely take a look out for my stuff. Also, subscribe. Okay, I do have a special 500 subscriber milestone. When I reach 500, I plan on doing a special extra long live stream, like a 5 hour long live stream. And then in that stream, I'll be like answering questions and I'll also be working on redrawing one of my first original characters. So like that's a special 500 subscriber thing that I'm gonna be doing, and then once I reach 1,000, that's gonna be when I do my Q&A. Oh, that's my neighbor's car. I heard like a rumbling. I thought it was thunder. But when I reach 1,000 subscribers, I do plan on doing a special Q&A. When I reach like 800 or 900, I'll leave community posts for people to leave questions they have for me. So then I can just answer them during my 1,000 subscriber special. But yeah, I have a lot of things. Like that's the funny part is I have a lot of things I'm planning for, a lot of things I want to do, a lot of things I want to achieve and have done. Like I'm not trying to be some sort of influencer. Like I just want to animate. Like that's really the core of what I want to be doing is just animating. I want to tell stories. I want to facilitate and help other people to tell their stories. I want to glorify God with my art. Because like thank you very much and thank you for stopping by Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. This is just my sit and chill series. People can come and go as they please. You don't have to stay the entire duration. But I am thankful for having you, Princess Sarah. You're amazing. Have a nice day. See you later. The Ayo's top is actually inspired by the African dashiki. I saw that it was slit on both sides, so I wanted to raise it. Actually, since I'm about to open Photoshop anyway, I guess I can share with you the design of Ayo. Just give me a second to. So this right here is Ayo's concept, a bit of concept art I did of him. The dashiki is actually African inspired. I saw that it was slit, so I wanted to raise the slit a little bit. But then I also wanted to add some American to his design. So that's why he has the shorts as well as the thermal leggings. Essentially, towards the early 2000s, what a lot of young black men would do is whenever they played basketball, they would put on like these thermal leggings or sleeves underneath their shorts. So that's really what I wanted to show, just to show the kind of character he is. The hair tie was a nice add because it helps separate his design. It adds a bit of mystique to his character, I would say. And then I went for the beard because I wanted to give him more of a distinguished look. And here's actually the funny thing. You see that purple that's on his hands and on his shoulders? That is not an article of clothing. That is actually his skin. So basically, his backstory is that he was a scientist, but one of his coworkers was jealous of him, leading to an accident, and that accident caused his one of his eyes to turn red, as well as his skin to stain, and certain areas to turn into this purple, almost demonic like look. I do want to redo his shoes though. And I also want to add more of his scientific design, but I like the way I drew the dreads. Like, not many people can draw dreads, okay? Not many people can draw locks. And so to see like long locks tied back in a ponytail, like that is like locks in a ponytail, like there's something about it. Like it just looks so good. And I was debating on if I wanted to give him a design. I mean, I guess I could go back and I could probably add maybe some, not a gray design, probably like another red design on his shirt. The one issue is that when I'm animating, it could not take too long, but it could be cumbersome to draw such a detailed design on his shirt. So I may just go for something simplistic yet modular to further share and expound upon his more scientific background. Like I want to show that he's a scientist in his design, or at least that he's very smart in his design. So I could go for a more like formal shoe, and then the collar around his shirt could be a more geometric design. But that's definitely something for later. I just roughed out that so I could have a work sample to work with while I animate, while I work on this animation. It looks like my tablet froze. Like I can't move it or anything. Let me turn it off and turn it back on. But yeah, that's the sort of basic rundown of Ao's backstory. There's more to it, but that's just a rough of it because I do want to explore more of it in the actual show. Yeah, like this tablet is not moving. Like I'm trying to touch around it and I'm trying to. Okay, well, that's moving. It's working now. I don't know what was the issue, but like earlier, my mouse just freaking froze, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, why is nothing working? But it's all good now. I have the Wacom One tablet. I believe this is the 13. I've had this tablet specifically for, I want to say, 4 years now. No, not 4 years. It was earlier than that. I got this when I got my new job. No, 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 not when I got my new job. I think I got this when I graduated. So like in 2022, because I didn't have this in college. I had like an old tablet. It's the Wacom One, either 13 or 14. It has a built-in screen so I can look down and see what I'm drawing, and I can also look at one of my monitors and look at what I'm drawing as well. I mean, cause like when it comes to my art, I show out. Like that. That's really all I can say. It's like when it comes to my art, I love showing my passion. Oh, I've been using Adobe Animate since high school. Like I've been using like that's the primary software I use when it comes to animation. Now I will say when I first started doing my digital art, I didn't know about Photoshop, so I primarily used Adobe Illustrator. But because Illustrator is a vector program, it led to my animations looking like shit. So then I'm like, maybe I should switch over to Photoshop when I'm doing my art. So Photoshop is raster. A raster program uses multiple small pixels, whereas a vector program uses geometric shapes that are processed through computer algorithms. Because, like, back in college, when we were doing 2D animations, my professor was like, "Oh, only use Photoshop." Like we only use Photoshop in this class, but Photoshop kept crashing when it came to 2D animation. So for one project, I'm like, you know what? F this. Like, let me just use Adobe Animate. And turns out my animation scored higher than my fellow course mates. So since then, I'm like, you know what? I have my preference. I'm gonna do my animation thing, and I'm gonna use the program that I like. I could go on a whole tirade about college. If I'm being completely honest, I actually don't remember much of it just because I don't really remember much of my college time because all I really remember is like the trauma that I experienced in the animation concentration. Like it was that bad. Like when I say it was bad, I mean like I got rejected so much that I was literally traumatized by the email notification. Like if you use Outlook, you know that it has like a specific app wide email notification. And so because I got rejected so many times, I began associating that email sound with like bad outcomes or bad results. So like I was afraid like okay, what's going to happen now? Am I going to get kicked out or am I going to lose my scholarship, so on and so forth. So for the longest time I just never checked my emails and my grades were good, but they did sort of start to suffer a bit because of that. And that's a whole story I could go on, but I'm not gonna explore that right now. And what's really funny to me now is that like a lot of the like I'll go online, I'll go on places like LinkedIn, and a lot of the people I went to college with, like they can't find any work. They can't find any work in the industry. They can't find any local work. Like they're all just freaking depressed. Like one girl I went to college with, she was an upperclassman and she ended up not even going into animation. She ended up like having a kid, which there's nothing wrong with that. But like she ended up getting married, having a kid, and then she works as a agent. She doesn't even animate anymore. And she had this big plan with two of her other course mates to like start their own studio, their own game design studio, and I guess that fell through. Then there's this other girl, like she was like one of the big students, and I don't see her on any sort of social media. And last I saw her on LinkedIn, she was working in retail. It's like it's like what do you say to that? And then, like, one of the professors, he actually was fired because he was doing inappropriate things with the female students. Because that's the thing, is like sometimes I will go into the computer lab and work on my projects and stuff, and like I would sometimes sit in on the upperclassmen courses, and it was all female. Like, that's the really strange part, is when it came to the animation courses, like it was majority female. And when it came to like black people, there was only ever like one or two black men in a class. There was like three black men in the entire concentration. It was all like white women, like white or Asian women, which was like so strange to me. It was just so very strange, because in the entry level courses, there were a bunch of people saying, I saw a bunch of black people, I saw a bunch of Latino people who are like, oh, I want to be an animator, I want to go into this field, XYZ, XYZ. And come to find out, they didn't get accepted, or they ended up becoming a super senior because they had to keep reapplying. And there was like a lot of mess that went on. Like, the professors had their favorites, and if you were a professor's favorite, then like you were guaranteed to get into concentration. Like, that really showed me, and that really shone a light on how the industry operates, because the academic course reflects the actual media industry. Like, you have to be friends with somebody in order to get a job. You have to know somebody who knows somebody, or you have to be a buddy buddy and a yes man to people. Like, I would be at my desk working on my projects, and then like other people, like they would be sending memes to the professor, and they'd be joking with the professor, and they'd be talking about like some inside joke. And I know those people got into the concentration, but I didn't, even though I worked real hard on my stuff. So it's like, it really just shows, like, it really just shows how corrupt the world is. I'm not gonna say how corrupt the world has become. Like, I'm desensitized to the point where I know like the world has always been corrupt, but it really shows just how bad the world can be. And I'm saddened, but I'm also liberated. It's saddening but liberating. It's like, now I don't have to worry about them anymore. Like, now I don't have to be obsessed by 100 other things that don't matter. I can just focus on my animation. Exactly, that's the thing. Like, but that's how the industry works. Because even when I decided to go independent and I decided to pursue animation as an independent study, like I would watch YouTube videos of like, oh, my first time being let go from the studio, or my first time being blacklisted, or my first time doing this, or I got laid off from my job. And like, the one common consensus that came about was, you need to rely on your connections for work. And if you're not well liked, then you're not going to find any work. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, what the heck? That's so sinful. That's so evil, that you can't that people can't get it by passion. People can't get it by merit. You have to be liked by somebody in order to get a job. It's so horrible and terrible. So that's why I'm happy to be doing my own thing. Like, I got what, 383 subscribers, 382. Like, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna keep hosting my live streams and making my characters, and I'm going to be sharing my progress with people and my process with people. Like, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be happy doing it. I'm going to be freaking happy doing it. I've been streaming for almost 2 hours. I think I'm going to take a small break from this, and I do want to work on my other character sheet a little bit. So let me just close out of this, and I'm going to bring this over here. And I'm going to work on this. I already roughed out some poses for the character. Now I just need to go back over and add more detail to them. So this is Nancy. He's actually inspired by the African folktale of Anansi the spider. He is, which one was he? He is number 5 of the 7 sages, and he's also the youngest member. He's like 12, 13 years old. And his primary magic is illusion based magic. So, in order to explain Nancy, I have to explain the rest of the world. So, in the year 2000, that was when magic returned to the world, and it led to various different advancements. There is a sort of dichotomy with magic in this world, where you have like the emotion based magic, which is high potency, but it's also very inconsistent. And then you have the more structured magic that uses logic. So that's basically the split dichotomy of it. Men in this world are more prone to using logic based magic, so they'll use science or math, or they'll create complex formulas. Whereas women in this world, they have very potent magic, and like their magic tends to be more powerful or more effective. Well, or more effective. And so you're not bound by your gender. So you can be a man and have a more emotional or more spiritual connection with your magic, or you can be a woman and you can be like have a PhD in metaphysics and have consistent magic that way. So it's like you're not bound by that, but your magic is based off of your mentality. And I also decided to not go the fairy tale route where everyone is bound by an element. Anyone can learn any different kind of magic. You just have to be taught by the person. Children, because they do not have a strong enough understanding of the world, their magic tends to be very potent, but in that same vein, the younger generation is more so prone to illusions rather than overt, powerful, world warping magic. And so that's where Nancy comes in. He is, while he is the youngest member of the Seven Sages, in that same vein, he's also one of the more analytical and methodical ones, and he is fairly high ranking. Like he's ranked number 5, 5 of 7. His parents were scientists, and they ended up going mad because their boss wanted them to run certain experiments and they were deprived of a lot of benefits because of it. They were essentially held hostage until they completed a project, and that led them to go insane. So Nancy really had to step up for himself, and he could not have a childhood because he was thrusted into an early adult position where he had to take care of his parents. So Nancy is a young black boy, and I was contemplating on if I wanted to go the more urban street route with his design, or if I wanted to go more so like the young gentleman route. And so I settled on the young gentleman route. So he's going to have like a little tuxedo. He's essentially a showman. His sort of bailiwick or his power is he is good with illusions. So he will host these like public shows where he'll have like elephants or illusion up like shapes and light shows for people. And that's how he does his business. Hmm. I wanted to give him this sort of little gentleman look, which is sort of a spin on the more, I want to say, urban street aesthetic that most black characters are given in modern media. So, like, he's gonna have braids, but he's also gonna wear a tuxedo. And he's also gonna have like this cool cane that he does like twirls with. It's gonna be pretty cool, pretty nice. definitely some more. Like, I want to mix and blend Creole with a bit of like Bible Belt African American. So like maybe some Georgian. since he's inspired by a spider, I wonder if I can sort of take like the abdomen. Sure, I stream Tuesdays and Fridays. I usually start around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so definitely look out for me during those times. See you around. Thank you for watching. Now, when it comes to Nancy, he is a beastkin. So, when magic returned to the world, it led to this resurgence and revitalization of like awakened DNA. So, it led to creatures like orcs and elves and beastmen and beastkin. Beastkin are just people with animal appendages. They're not full anthropomorphic animal people. So when it comes to Nancy, he is a spider beastkin. So he has fangs and he also has these two like spider legs that come out of the small of his back. They are sort of vestigial. Like they can move a little bit and like he can't necessarily climb up walls with them. They're just like this nice aesthetic thing for his character. And so now what I'm actually thinking is just to further sell. I mean, because the easy thing to do would actually be to give his tuxedo coat like this dome like design, and then I can just call it a day. So then that could be like the spider's um, thorax, is it? It could be like the spider's thorax, and then that'll just be easy. But what I would like to do is maybe I can just alter the coattail to split into two. So then it can be like, he has two arms, two of his like spider legs in his back. And then the coattails will be two more, and then I'll have his feet. So then that can make up like the eight legs of a spider. I mean, I chose the formal aesthetic for Nazi just because that's not really something we get with black people or black characters. Like, I can really only think of like one immediately comes to mind, and that's like Louis from the 2019, 2020, not 2019, 2020, like the 2022 Interview with a Vampire rendition. Like, that's really all I get. So I just would like to see more fashion depictions of black people. I think would be very interesting. Hmm. I am from America, North American. It's just my channel is named after my last name, Owoh. So my father's from Nigeria. Where are you from? Nice to meet you, unprofessional art queen. Welcome to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. How's your day going? Now my whole thing is how am I going to do the braids? Like that's gonna be the hard part for me. You know, when in doubt, you go online, right? Well, that's a good start. I can always go back and want to give him a bit of character too. Hmm. You know, that actually makes him look more surprised than he is. I'm trying to give him a more. I think this is good for now. I've streamed for quite a while. It's already been 2 hours and 40 minutes. I don't want to keep you guys here for too long. But this is the present character I'm working on. Let me just write it for you. That's his name, Nancy. Short for Anansi the Spider. Just another one of the characters I'm working on for my next character concept playlist for the pilot I'm working on. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be very exciting to continue to work on this, redo it, attend to it as needed, and yeah. Anyway, I think that's it for this stream. I've gone for quite a while now. Not necessarily getting tired, but I just don't want to keep you guys here for too long. But I got really good engagement, and I'm very happy and thankful for everyone who stopped by. And those of you who watch me on the replay, I definitely get more replayed watches than I want to say concurrent, but that's good too. However way I get it, I get it. Road to 500. Once I reach 500 subscribers, I'll be hosting a special extra long live stream, about 5 hours long, and I'm also going to be redrawing one of my first OCs. Road to 1,000. Once I reach 1,000 subscribers, I plan on doing a special Q&A live stream where you guys can leave me different questions and I'll give you answers. And yeah, those are the two big things I'm working on. I've also been working on a pilot. I've mainly been working on character designs and different short animation exercises to build up my skills and try to gain a following before I go full gung-ho into working on a pilot. But that's about it. Stay blessed, everyone, and thank you all so much. This has been Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art, and I'll see you guys in my next video or live stream. Bye.